Should I call you VCHA, or would you prefer I use your new name, GIRLSET? After all the scandals and controversies, VCHA suddenly rebranded, starting fresh with a new name. But here's my question to you. Can simply changing a name really make everyone forget all the past scandals? Today, I'm going to tell you one of the most controversial comeback stories, or maybe downfall stories, in K-pop history. Time will tell which one it truly is. We'll go through VCHA's long silence, how they returned under the name GIRLSET, and what really happened behind this change. You probably already know, but for those who don't, I'll quickly explain the group's origins and what happened to them in the past. VCHA was an America-based girl group that first entered our lives in 2023 through JYP Entertainment's survival program, a 2K. These 6 young girls stood out not only for their talent, but also for their role in K-pop's global expansion. With their multicultural background, they seemed like the future of K-pop. But behind this bright beginning was a much darker story. Even during their debut period, K's young age sparked criticism. Born in November 2009, K was only 13 years old when she debuted. Including someone this young in intense stage schedules reignited debates about child labor in the industry. On Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok, discussions flared up. Should a 13-year-old be performing in front of millions? Are her stage outfits appropriate for her age? How healthy is the idol life for a child? But this was only the beginning. In March 2024, the company released a short statement announcing that K would be taking a break from the group due to health issues. However, they never revealed what kind of health problem she was facing. After this announcement, the group's activity on social media came to a sudden stop. Around the same time, VCHA's Lollapalooza performance was cancelled. Fans were expecting an explanation from the company, but there was complete silence. The one who finally broke this silence wasn't the company. It was someone else entirely. One day, member KG announced that she was leaving VCHA and filing a lawsuit against JYP America. KG harshly criticized the JYP system, claiming that the company encouraged eating disorders among the members, that some members were engaging in self-harm, and that one member had even attempted to take their own life. According to KG's claims, JYP had assigned a specific character to each VCHA member, and they were forced to act according to that persona. They were not allowed to act like themselves, make any statements, or post anything without the company's approval. The company even controlled their hair color, makeup, and skin tone. KG also said that she had documents and evidence to back up all of her claims. Many people believe that the member KG mentioned, the one who had allegedly attempted to take her own life, was K. This made the situation even more serious. From that moment on, the name VCHA was no longer associated only with being a K-pop group. It became linked to scandals as well. KG's statements caused a huge stir on social media. The group had gone completely silent and none of the members made any statements. During those days, many people began to think that VCHA would completely disband. While the lawsuit between KG and JYP was still ongoing, on July 11th, K also announced that she was leaving both VCHA and JYP. In her statement, the part where she said, "First of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to JYP Entertainment for the incredible opportunity they gave me and for all the experiences I gained during my time as a trainee and member of VCHA," was confusing. Because as I mentioned earlier, in KG's statement, the member allegedly involved in the suicide attempt was K. So seeing her thank JYP so much in her farewell message was unexpected. K's post was met with both joy and concern. Some fans were happy that she would finally be able to carve her own path. Others questioned why she had remained silent for so long, especially when even though she wasn't named directly in KG's lawsuit, there were indirect implications about her. After K's departure, uncertainty surrounded what VCHA would do next. 4 members still officially remained in the group. However, there was no news about new music, projects, or events. The company continued its silence. Then, fans discovered a subtle but important change. On JYP's official website, VCHA had been removed from the list of artists. Previously, VCHA's profile, members, and music links were all listed there, but suddenly everything had been deleted. The name VCHA was nowhere to be found. This wasn't just on the website, it was the same in the company's published annual reports and media kits. In the 2025 activity summaries, there wasn't a single line mentioning VCHA's debut or existence. On the company's chronological timeline, VCHA's name had been skipped entirely. All of this silence and erasure led the public to one conclusion: JYP was systematically removing any trace of VCHA VCHA. Many people believed this move meant the group had effectively disbanded. Some fans said the company was trying to quietly sweep the situation under the rug and avoid openly taking responsibility. Others argued that the remaining members were still under contract, but the group was simply inactive. There was no confirmed information about the 4 remaining members of VCHA. However, some fans claimed they had been spotted together in Los Angeles. It was said they had been seen out together several times and had even been at some studios. Pictures were removed, even the videos on their YouTube channel were taken down. VCHA was being erased from the digital universe, and this led fans to one question. It looks like the group has disbanded and JYP is quietly wiping them from social media as well. While all of this was happening, fans noticed something else. JYP had trademarked the name GIRLSET. Wait, what? They already had a group with unresolved problems and an uncertain future, and now they were going to debut a new girl group? So what would happen to VCHA? That question didn't take long to be answered. On August 7th, VCHA's social media accounts first posted the GIRLSET logo. Shortly after, a promotional video was released showing 4 members under the new name GIRLSET. And that wasn't all. Soon after, a new album announcement was made and a brand new teaser video was uploaded online. VCA was gone. Now there was only GIRLSET. At the same time, all of the social media accounts were completely rebranded. All the platforms that once belonged to VCHA were relaunched under the GIRLSET name. The logo was changed, member profiles were updated, and most importantly, the story was reset. The name VCHA was never mentioned again, and every post was deleted. JYP's strategy was clear. Erase the name VCHA entirely and replace it with GIRLSET. The first project of GIRLSET's new era was also announced. The girls would release their debut single, Commas, on August 29th. This would be the first music project presented to fans since the VCHA era. Yes, the company had completely rebuilt VCHA from scratch. A new name, a new song, brand new social media accounts. But KG's lawsuit was still ongoing, and with KG's confessions, her claims about the company, all the evidence and clarity surrounding it, I honestly don't know how they decided to make such a move. In fact, just a few months ago, KG's older brother had passed away, and her mother had implied that JYP was partly to blame for his death, saying it was because of them. KG had claimed countless times that they were threatened by the company, so for all of that to suddenly be pushed into the background and for a new debut to happen under a new name felt strange to me. The horrifying allegations in the court documents, forced labor, emotional abuse, physical injuries, even attempted suicide, could not be erased overnight. That's why GIRLSET's debut felt like disturbing timing to some people. But another controversy began to grow within all of this: KG's silence. KG, who had commented on JYP's every move before, said nothing about the new group name. This led to different interpretations. Some fans thought she had moved on with her life and closed that chapter. Others believed her silence meant there were still unresolved issues, that it could be a case of being silenced or a settlement agreement. As I mentioned, her family members who had constantly spoken out about her brother's death suddenly went completely quiet. On Friday, I was shocked by an announcement from both JYP and KG. JYP announced that they had terminated KG's contract and that the two had reached a mutual agreement. I was so confused. How did they mutually agree? What happened behind the scenes? KG also made the following post on her Instagram: JYP America and KG Crown have mutually agreed to part ways as KG concludes her journey with VCHA. Both parties sincerely wish each other the best in their future projects. Thank you. The internet went wild. KG had exposed every detail of JYP's contracts, every company secret. She had even held the company responsible for her brother's death, and then suddenly both sides reached an agreement. Honestly, this didn't make sense to me at all. I can't help but feel like something much stranger was going on behind the scenes because the company managed to silence KG at the exact right moment and settle things. But regardless of what happened, even though the lawyers for both JYP USA and KG announced that they had reached a settlement, the public reaction still hasn't died down, especially since the court documents, which included hospital receipts, screenshots, voice recordings, and messages, shed light on the dark side of the K-pop industry. Now, with all of these documents out in the open, the fact that the group members have continued on without making any statements has left some fans disappointed. One Reddit commenter stood out with these KG's words. I supported VCHA during their debut days, but now they've come back as GIRLSET and are acting like nothing happened. KG's words are still in my head. I mean, I love these girls, but at the same time, all this group reminds me of is trauma. On Twitter, the criticism was even harsher. JYP can't just change a name and run from all responsibility. They buried VCHA's digital corpse and planted flowers over GIRLSET, but we haven't forgotten what's still underground. One of my favorite comments was this: they deserve a second chance, but JYP also needs to explain what they did the first time. The 4 remaining members, yes, after all that hard work, of course they should continue, but if KG's claims are true, I don't know how we can ignore them, or how we can simply forget. Because KG didn't just reveal the mistreatment she personally faced, she exposed the issues happening throughout the group, and she didn't just do it with words, she backed it up with documents, screenshots, receipts, and photos. So what do you think about all of this and about the group's new concept? Don't forget to share your thoughts with me in the comments, and if you follow me, I'll be really happy. Until the next video, take care of yourselves and goodbye.